My name is Richard Brochu. What? What else do you want me to say?
Yeah, that's great. I'm sorry. I could just be so... Okay, ready?
So my name is Rich Brochu. My dad had Alzheimer's, and my mother-in-law's mom had it also. That was my first introduction to the disease.
My mother had Alzheimer's for 20 years and was picked up at the age of 70, and her life virtually stopped.
When I finally did meet her, she really wasn't speaking, so I had really no interaction or knowledge of what type of person she was before.
She was very gregarious, always animated, and you could see that she was having trouble talking, picking the right words. Some of the facial muscles didn't smile like they used to, and she didn't absorb a lot of the excitement around her and the family that she had. My mother was not combative until she found that she couldn't get her way, and once in a while she would give me a little punch in the chest or something, but that was so unlike my mother.
My dad, though, he was kind of always controlling, kind of had a mean side, get really upset. So as his disease started to progress, he actually started to show that in his disease.
People often think of just the decline in memory and thinking, but we know that these associated, what we call neuropsychiatric symptoms, which include aggression, depression, anxiety can be there too. These are really part of the disease too.
You know, it was kind of scary because my dad was so controlling for, basically our entire lives. My mom never questioned him or tried to go against his authority.
I was used to it, so I put up with it. And everybody would ask me, well, if he was so mean and ugly, because my kids was afraid of him because he was ugly with them. So that's probably why they behaved so well and never skipped school, because they were afraid of their father. And so I don't remember what I was supposed to say.
But because of COVID, we hadn't been to visit him for probably at least 2.5, 3 years, if not even longer than that. My brother had been there a couple weeks before I had gone up there, and he had told me that he saw a bruise on my mom's arm, and when he inquired about it, he found out that my dad had actually hit my mom in the arm. When we finally did go see him, he was pretty far in the advanced stages of Alzheimer's. I actually had to stand in front of him so that he couldn't, try to intimidate my mother. Backhand, he kind of slapped her on the wrist or the arm or something like that. So it started a whole nother argument. He said he didn't do it. He started yelling at my wife. So that was the beginning of really seeing how bad, Alzheimer's really is. We were there in September, and then right around end of May of 2022, got a call from one of my cousins that there had been a physical altercation between my mom and dad.
I went downstairs in the garage, and I was going to take the battery out of the riding lawnmower because it was dead. And he came down, he said, "You don't have to do that." So he took a stake nearby, and he hit me on the head and on the arm, and he broke the skin on my arm. He grabbed my throat and squeezed, and he wouldn't let it go. I didn't tell any of my kids because I figured they had enough problems of their own without worrying about me.
I took her to the doctor because, she kept her throat like that.
And they found out that when he tried to choke me, he damaged my left vocal cord.
So he left her a parting gift that she'll have the rest of her life, because there's nothing we can do with that. He was at a phase where he was getting more and more aggressive as time came. It was a family decision between my wife and everybody else that we would move my parents to Florida so that they could be near us, so that I could actually take care of them and be the person that could control my dad. Prior to my dad coming down here, he hadn't taken a shower or bath in 6 months because he couldn't get into the shower because it was a tub at the other house and there was no hand thing or anything like that that he could hold or wash himself off. So that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure that he had, you know, down here.
You know, as a caregiver, it's really tough. You have to separate yourself from the person that you knew and loved from the disease.
Because you die twice. Your brain dies and then you die.
She kind of went through grief during his life that she was losing part of him.
He was rowdy and belligerent, so Rich went to help him to get up, and he tried to kick Rich in the balls.
You know, but he was 87 and he really didn't have much strength. I think I've been hit harder with a pickleball. Actually, I shouldn't say that because those sting sometimes too, but he did have that intention and he actually said, oh, you're lucky I pulled back because I really could have hurt you.
It's more typical for later stages, let's say moderate or severe disease, when someone is dysregulated and the parts of the brain that would normally inhibit those kinds of behaviors, or wouldn't even put someone in a state of mind that they could do that to someone they love, are just impaired and affected.
Eventually that procedure kept going on and it kept getting worse, and he didn't want to go to the doctor to get any medication to slow it down.
We're better at treating those neuropsychiatric symptoms than we are with the actual memory and thinking difficulty. There's a lot of good evidence-based behavioral strategies for caregivers.
So I got all kinds of little toys or things like, like a fake wallet and, like the fake money that he could play with.
Whether he read about that or just picked it up, that's exactly the kind of strategies that we use. So it's difficult.
Finally, we got his meds squared away, where he was more passive. My mom was more relaxed and able to enjoy her life a little bit. I had seen him that day.
He was in bed. I covered him up and I kissed him goodnight, and I noticed his face went all white. So I figured something was wrong. And so I called Rich and he came right over and he was gone. So I'm glad that he didn't linger on and suffer more than what, he already did with that disease.
My dad was kind of mean and violent, growing up. Having him here and seeing that behavior, to me, that's like partly like his true inner self. I think of him in that manner, how he treated my mom.
I was kind of relieved because, I had prayed every day that God come and get him before his disease gets too bad, and so he did, so I can't question that. Like my older brother used to say, it doesn't matter how bad they treat you or how mean they are. When they go, you miss them. So I miss them, but I have a good life here in Florida with my son and his family, and so I can't complain about that. I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for all their help.
It's great having my mom here. I see her probably at least every day almost. We finally, after I don't know how many years I've been away from home and haven't had a Christmas with my mom, got to spend Christmas with her. So that was nice. You find the time. You just find the time and you do it, and hopefully if anybody gets in that position, they enjoy it, and they have to remember that their parents are what gave them their opportunities in life, gave them their chances, so it's a labor of love. You are too.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I need that again. Are you gonna cut the...
Sure.
Or are you just gonna... Doesn't matter.